It started out just like any other spring break. We were heading to Glen Eden Beach at the Oregon coast. We were staying in a condominium there. We just arrived and unpacked, and we're having lunch. And I was cleaning up after lunch, and the boys headed to the beach. And moments later, I heard screaming and yelling from people that were on the beach, and I raced out there. And they said 2 boys had been injured, and that minute I knew it was my 2 boys. Just something a mother knows. It was my 2 boys. So it's like that feeling when you're dreaming and you're rushing through the sand, and I'm trying to run, and it was like slow motion.
We saw a log sitting there, and we just, kids trying to have fun, and just kind of play on the log. We didn't think that the water was coming in, and I didn't really pay attention, but now that I think of it, yeah, the tide was coming in. It's like we kind of turned our back to the ocean, and the waves just kind of snuck up on us, and we were playing on it, and then like a sneaker wave, or a bigger wave came up and it hit the log and it knocked him off it, and it rolled over him.
Now you can see the ocean, how far this ocean is away from me here. It's around 400 or 500 yards down there towards the inside of the jetty. But yet when the sneaker wave came in here, there was logs and stumps and everything else that came all the way up to this point and was about waist deep in water. It took the logs and the old growth stumps and washed them over into the river.
The people get in trouble are very frequently people who don't live here. And right on this beach, 2 years ago, I was handing out beach safety information, talking to people, and we pointed out that the tide was coming in, and a lady, an adult lady, said, "The tide comes in, does it do that every day?" And we said, yes. As a matter of fact, it does it twice a day, every day. And this was news to her. So the problem is people from elsewhere who are not aware of what happens in the ocean, etc., get into trouble because of not being aware.
Oregon's beautiful beaches offer plenty of opportunity for our many visitors. Whether your hobby is hiking, biking, building sandcastles, or just walking the beach, the Oregon coast has plenty to offer. However, it is important to remember that the ocean can be as dangerous as it is beautiful. Visitors that forget about the hidden dangers of Oregon's beaches can find themselves in some scary situations. Oregon Parks and Recreation Department reminds you that keeping a few safety tips in mind can help you enjoy many return visits to the beach. Oregon's ocean beaches are a great place to play. Family trips to the ocean are fun and safe when you keep your eyes open and stay alert. Remind your parents of these safety tips when you visit the beach. Always keep an eye on the ocean. Watch out for sneaker waves. Sneaker waves can appear suddenly. They often come rushing high up on shore with deadly force. Please don't play on the logs, especially logs on wet sand or in the water. The ocean is strong enough to pick up even the biggest log and plop it down on top of you. Remember, stay off logs in the surf or on wet sand. Be aware of incoming tides. Because tidal pools can be so interesting, you might lose track of time. Make sure you know when the tide is coming in so you don't end up stranded. Get free tide tables at state park offices and information centers and many shops and motels. Be careful on cliffs and rocks. Ocean spray and rain can make them slippery and unsafe. Stay on the right side of all fences. They are there for your safety.
It doesn't look all that dangerous, but the power of the ocean can turn deadly. What I found out was that there was a log on the beach, and I could see it, and apparently the boys were on the log, and a sneaker wave came up and rolled the log. The log rolled on Grant's legs, causing him some injuries, but Jacob fell and hit the back of his head, and he just looked like he was laying there asleep. And you just know that when those paramedics come, you know that everything will be all right. And it was real hard. It's real hard.
These two logs are both examples of things that people think, gosh, these logs would never move. They couldn't be floated. And yet they can be. If they were closer to the water right now, they'd be very, very dangerous. But of course the tide will come in and they will be closer. Logs like this are the ones that I've seen had the most experience with killing people, because they look sturdy, and yet it doesn't take much to float them. About 4 to 6 inches of water will float it enough so if somebody falls off and the log rolls, it's adios. Both of these logs probably weigh in excess of 10,000 pounds. And that's more than enough to crush somebody badly. We like people to come to the coast, enjoy themselves, play on the beach, but they need to play safely, and there are certain rules that should be kept in mind. The biggest rule is to don't turn your back on the ocean. Be aware of the fact that the next wave could be much higher than the last one, or any in the last 20, 30 minutes. And these logs, although they look very stable, a big wave can come in and roll one, and all it's got to do is roll a little bit, and people can be injured or killed.
The Oregon coast is a great place to visit, and Oregon State Parks want you to come back over and over again. Please remember these rules during your next trip to the beach. Don't turn your back on the ocean. Watch out for sneaker waves. Sneaker waves appear suddenly. They often come rushing high up on shore with deadly force. Don't play on the logs, especially logs on wet sand or in the water. The ocean is strong enough to pick up even the biggest log and roll or plop it on top of you. Stay off logs in the surf or on wet sand. Be aware of incoming tides. Because the beach can be so interesting, you might lose track of time. Make sure you know when the tide is coming in so you don't end up stranded. Get free tide tables at state park offices and information centers and many shops and motels. Be careful on cliffs and rocks. Ocean spray and rain can make them slippery and unsafe. Stay on the right side of all fences. They are there for your safety.
The Oregon coast is such a beautiful place to visit and spend time, but you just need to watch the kids all the time while you're there. Jacob and Grant were just out of my sight for just a few minutes, and just an accident like that can just change your lives forever, and that's what this tragedy has done to our family.
If you want more information about how to play it safe on the beach, talk to your local state parks ranger or camp host, or contact the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department Beach Safety Education Coordinator by calling 503-378-4168, extension 302.